Have you ever experienced that agonizing disconnect between your internal intellect and your external delivery? You're in a high-stakes environment, perhaps a boardroom or an interview, and you possess a profound understanding of the subject matter. Yet, when the spotlight shifts to you, your cognitive faculties seem to undergo a sudden, inexplicable brownout. You find yourself grasping for vocabulary that was vivid moments ago, settling for fragmented sentences while your best insights remain locked behind a wall of performance anxiety. This is not a deficit of intelligence, it is a failure of retrieval under pressure. Today, we are going to bridge the gap between your deepest thoughts and your spoken word. Section 1. The neurobiology of articulation. To master speech, we must first understand the biological constraints of the brain. Clear communication requires the seamless orchestration of two distinct neurological hubs, Wernicke's area, responsible for the conceptualization of ideas, and Broca's area, which governs the mechanical production of speech. Under stress, the amygdala triggers a sympathetic nervous system response, diverting metabolic resources away from the prefrontal cortex, your seat of logic, toward survival mechanisms. Essentially, your brain deprioritizes nuanced rhetoric in favor of primal self-preservation. When you freeze, you are witnessing a neurological traffic jam where your physiological state is actively sabotaging your linguistic competence. Section 2. The paralysis of the perfectionist. Ironically, the more intelligent the individual, the more they tend to struggle with verbal fluidity. This is often due to excessive self-monitoring. You are attempting to audit, edit, and refine your statement before it is even uttered. This internal censorship creates a lag that observers misinterpret as hesitation or a lack of conviction. In the pursuit of the perfect response, you sacrifice the temporal relevance of the conversation. You aren't just overthinking the answer, you are overanalyzing the social consequences of a flawed delivery, which only serves to compound the pressure. Section 3. Cognitive frameworks for rapid synthesis. Speed is not about the velocity of your words, but the efficiency of your mental architecture. Instead of constructing sentences from a vacuum, utilize established heuristics. The PREP framework, point, reason, evidence, point. This provides an immediate logical trajectory. By stating your point first, you anchor your thoughts, allowing the reason and evidence to follow a deductive path. Categorical categorization, when asked for a complex opinion, immediately segment your response into the short-term versus the long-term or the financial versus the cultural. This compartmentalization prevents your brain from becoming overwhelmed by the totality of the topic. Section 4. Elevating eloquence without affectation. Talking smarter does not necessitate an influx of obscure jargon, it requires linguistic precision. Tactical silence. We often perceive silence as a void to be filled with filler words. In reality, a deliberate pause signals intellectual maturity. It suggests that you are formulating a measured response rather than reacting impulsively. The top-down approach. Adopt the journalistic style of the inverted pyramid. Deliver your most critical conclusion first. If your explanation becomes convoluted later, your primary value has already been established and internalized by your audience. Section 5. Neurolinguistic conditioning, daily drill. Communication is a perishable skill. To achieve cognitive agility, you must engage in deliberate practice. Look at the table and observe. Finally, it's time for conclusion. From performance to presence. The ultimate shift in mindset is recognizing that communication is an act of service, not a performance. When you enter a conversation with the intent to be seen as smart, you invite ego and anxiety into the room. When you enter with the intent to provide clarity, your brain naturally aligns itself with that objective. Abandon the pursuit of the flawless script. Aim for authentic resonance. People will ultimately forget the specific syntax you used, but they will never forget the clarity of your vision. Reflect on your last interaction. Were you trying to impress, or were you trying to be understood? The sharpenings of your mind define the limits of your world. If you found value in today's breakdown, hit the subscribe button to join the MindForge collective. Check the screen for our next deep dive into cognitive mastery, and remember, clarity is a skill, not a gift. Keep refining. See you.